Brown versus Verstappen, clarification or calculated strategy? In the neon chaos of Las Vegas, Zack Brown once again played a role he often slips into naturally, not just as McLaren's CEO, but as one of Formula One's most deliberate storytellers. His past comments about Max Verstappen, calling him arrogant, returned to haunt the paddock. But instead of stepping back or apologizing, Brown chose a different route, turning criticism into a compliment. Brown reshaped his earlier remarks, this time with a safer, more polished framing, yet one that remains open to scrutiny. "I called him a fighter, but I meant it as a compliment. I also used that word for Ayrton Senna, and he is my favorite driver of all time," he said, as if trying to sheath every word in historic protection. But this is where the critique sharpens. It feels less like pure clarification and more like damage control. Behind his attempt to cool down the controversy, one fact is unavoidable: Brown understands that the label arrogant has already shaped public perception. That narrative spread rapidly across media and resurfaced in 2025 as McLaren's form fluctuated. Pairing Verstappen with Senna now is bold and risky. Senna is an icon, a legend, a symbol of aggression and genius. Placing Verstappen in the same category is the ultimate compliment, but it also exposes Brown's strategic mind at work. His claim that his words were taken out of context raises eyebrows too. It's the classic phrase deployed when a public figure wants to clean up the aftershock of a pointed statement. And Brown, a man who understands media mechanics better than most, surely knows the weight of every syllable he utters. Brown versus Verstappen is not new. The tension has long lingered beneath the surface. In 2024, when McLaren looked capable of challenging Red Bull and Norris often appeared threatening, Brown quickly remarked that Verstappen could only win with the best car. A familiar narrative: champion thanks to machinery, not talent. Verstappen replied in his usual fashion: direct, sharp, factual. At the end of the day, results speak louder than debates, and results have consistently favored Verstappen. This season, Brown attempted once more to soften the friction. "I spoke directly with Max to clear it up. No disrespect was intended, no criticism, it was more an acknowledgement of his fighting ability, in the style of Ayrton Senna." Yet the irony is impossible to ignore. If there was no disrespect, why does this debate resurface every season? If his words were always praise, why are they always controversial? And if this is all just misunderstanding, why does Brown keep becoming the source of these headlines? The likely answer, cynical but realistic, is simple: Formula One thrives on drama. And Zack Brown knows exactly how to stir it. Fans may see Brown's latest comments as an attempt to repair a relationship. But for anyone familiar with the inner workings of F1, it looks more like strategic positioning. By elevating Verstappen as a fighter, Brown subtly reinforces Norris as the future challenger while planting a bit of psychological noise inside Verstappen's camp. Brown's job is not to drive or engineer. His job is to keep McLaren relevant, not just on track, but in every conversation surrounding the sport. When he likens Verstappen to Senna, he's sending a two-sided message: respect, yes, but also a competitive provocation. Ultimately, Brown's clarification feels more like an effort to regain control of a narrative that escaped his hands. And the report's closing line remains accurate: in Formula One, words can be as heavy as championship points. Zack Brown, intentionally or not, proves that once again. The controversy surrounding Zack Brown's remarks did not end with his attempt to clarify them. Within the Las Vegas paddock, several senior figures suggested that Brown's comments had created a new dynamic in the rivalry between McLaren and Red Bull. Although Brown reiterated that no disrespect was intended, many insiders believe his words still carry strategic undertones. For some analysts, labeling Max Verstappen arrogant and later comparing him to Ayrton Senna was not merely a gesture of respect. Instead, it was viewed as a calculated move to reinforce McLaren's relevance in the ongoing championship narrative. By positioning Lando Norris in the orbit of a rivalry with Verstappen, Brown indirectly strengthens McLaren's presence in the public discourse. Communication experts within Formula One also interpret Brown's approach as a long-term strategy. Offering praise disguised in layered commentary has often been used to maintain competitive tension without escalating into outright conflict. In this case, Brown appears to have succeeded in keeping McLaren in the spotlight while acknowledging Verstappen's status as the championship benchmark. As of publication, Verstappen has yet to respond to Brown's clarification. His silence, however, has only intensified speculation. Many believe Verstappen will deliver his response on track rather than through the media. The situation mirrors the pattern seen in the 2024 season, when he countered similar remarks from Brown with a dominant victory at the following race. With the championship battle tightening, both McLaren and Red Bull are under increasing scrutiny. McLaren continues its upward trajectory through consistent performances from Norris, while Red Bull remains the team to beat, anchored by a driver capable of shifting the momentum of an entire season. Brown's statement that "I spoke directly with Max to clear it up" offers a sense of professionalism, but it does little to quell public interpretation. Instead, the saga highlights how comments and counter-comments can influence psychological dynamics as much as on-track performance. In Formula One, words are never just words, they shape narratives, fuel rivalries, and sometimes even dictate momentum. As both teams prepare for the next round, attention remains fixed not only on lap times, but on how this verbal skirmish may unfold into one of the defining storylines of the season. The verbal drama in Las Vegas may have settled, but the real battle is only beginning. Brown's decision to place Verstappen in the same category as Ayrton Senna has triggered intense comparison discussions across the paddock. His claim "I also used that word for Ayrton Senna, and he is my favorite driver of all time" carries significant weight, especially considering Senna's legendary status in Formula One. From a purely competitive standpoint, the comparison highlights two different eras of dominance. Senna was celebrated for his raw aggression, precision, and psychological intimidation, while Verstappen has built his legacy on relentless consistency, minimal errors, and surgical racecraft. Both are often described as uncompromising, a trait Brown encapsulated in the word fighter. However, the distinction lies in the interpretation of the word arrogance. For Senna, arrogance was often viewed as an extension of his intensity, a necessary part of what made him exceptional. For Verstappen, critics argue it is a byproduct of modern dominance. Brown's attempt to unify both under a single label has therefore become a point of contention. Some insiders believe Brown's comparison softens his earlier remark, while others argue it elevates Verstappen too quickly into a conversation reserved for the sport's most revered icons. Either way, it ensures the debate remains alive.